Good morning. How are you? Thank God for the wake up. Welcome to another episode of Talking Cancer, My Journey, My Way. My journey, my way. Yeah, I like that. Um, I was thinking about some things and I was thinking about when I was diagnosed and I was kind of going through some stuff, just like, you know what? I got diagnosed like in June of 2021, right? And I was thinking about what was going on around that time. I was stuck right in the middle of COVID. That was crazy because not only was I dealing with this disease, but I had to be confined as well to my house, away from people. Didn't have a lot of communication as far as, just the chosen few that decided to call or message me or whatever. But I was really, really isolated, you know? And that wasn't a really, if I sit back and I think about it, and I'm going through this stuff and it's just me, my wife, and the kids, uh, face masked up, hand sanitizer everywhere because I'm in the middle of radiation, and chemo, and all that good stuff. That stuff that everybody wants to go through and experience. So I'm going through this stuff, right? But my immune system is so compromised because of the chemo that I had to stay away from people. And not only was susceptible to chemo, but everything else that was out there too. I mean, not susceptible to COVID, but everything else out there too. But shit, COVID was killing people right and left, right? That was a pretty scary time. And like for me, I was really like totally against the vaccine. Like I didn't want it, you know. But talking to my wife and her concerns about my immune system and things like that, and everything, the kids going to school, whatnot. I ended up taking it. I didn't want to, but I really think that chemo kind of wiped it out anyway. I don't even think it was a factor for me, um, but seriously though, living in that time, I'm trying to put myself, it was really, really, I think the only person that I really, really talked to, that I got to see on a regular basis was my sister and her family. Cause we would FaceTime all the time or message all the time. Um, but really, as far as anybody like texting or calling or whatever, I get a few calls here and there. But that was really it. The wife, the kids, and my sister and her family. I think about that isolation, and it was a crazy time. If not even worse, having to deal with the diagnosis of having stage 3 cancer. For me, even though I got myself to a good place and was dealing with things and, learning to manage day by day, and I was just dealing with the cancer itself, you know what I mean? If I sit back and think about it, it was a crazy period, a lonely period, because I'm in isolation and I'm dealing with this disease and not really having anybody, if anybody wanted to come and see me, um, come and see me. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't really an option. I had to stay away. People around me were catching COVID right and left, you know. Um, and I couldn't put myself in that position or compromise my immune system at all. You hear that? That was nothing, right? You hear that pause? That's how life was. Just blah. It's just a whole section of life where communication wasn't there. There was a lot of people out there, like, doing their thing, living their life, not really tripping. But I wasn't willing to compromise myself, especially with the compromised immune system already. I already had, like, my one of my uncles passed away from COVID. My other uncle, I almost lost him. He went to the hospital, like, for real. He was doing really bad. I even brought him some of that good old soup I was talking about. My niece and them, had COVID. My cousin had COVID. My sister had COVID. I mean, I drove up to my sister's house, like I told you guys the other day, 3 hours to go drop her off soup. Or did I tell you guys that the other day? No, I didn't. I was talking to somebody about it. Anyways, yeah, it was just crazy. How that period of a pandemic toppled with being diagnosed with this deadly disease, isolation, just it was I can't say it was good for me, because it was just like, not only was I stuck in the house, but I really didn't want to go anywhere either. I didn't want to interact with too many people. And if I did go to the store, which over time I started to be okay, or whatever. I mean, I was hand sanitizer up. Everything I touched, everything the kids touched before we got in the car, out the car, putting gas in the car, every nozzle, every you name it. You touch the product on the shelf, okay, give me a hand. We're putting hand sanitizer on. You know what I mean? Like, cross-contamination was vicious. And we probably wore our masks longer than most people. Definitely wasn't easy. And I know there's other people that are fighting cancer, going through this stuff. Even having to go to, when I went and got my port placed. I'm so used to, okay, you're gonna have a surgery, and it wasn't a major surgery, but it's considered a surgery. They got to put you under. But it was a light anesthesia, I believe, something like that. But I'm so used to, you go to surgery, whatever, and family goes into hospital. Hey, they wait for you in the waiting room, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Psh, none of that. Drop me off at the front door, kiss me goodbye, and kick me out the car. I call you when I'm ready to be picked up. Nobody to see when I was, coming out of anesthesia. Nobody there to talk to. Just me, myself, and my thoughts in a pandemic. Oh yeah. And I just got a port placed for my cancer. Living, sitting back, living in it or reliving it, puts a lot of things in perspective, just in regards to where I'm at right now. I think I had a lot of time to think versus being distracted. Probably not the best word to use, saying distracted, but for lack of better words, we're going to use that. Just being distracted by other people who are probably willing to talk to me or care for me or whatever, or stop by and have dinner or whatever with this cancer loved one. All of that was stopped. Just how life just went. It was just not ideal. It's just extra things to have to deal with on top of it. So, COVID, hey, yeah, it got me. Cancer, yeah, it came and tried to get me. But now here I am dealing with stage 4, and I started a podcast. Hey, that's crazy. Let's talk about this shit. Let's get everybody involved and talk about this shit. Right? This is how we do it. So the world is almost pretty much back to normal. The hospitals are kind of opening back up a little bit. But you're still, there's still some precautions there a little bit. But for the most part, everybody good. I'm walking around with no mask on. I'm working. That's where I'm at. So, hey, at the end of the day, I'm here to tell you fuck cancer. Here to tell you fuck COVID. You know what I mean? Let's stare it right in the face and say, come on, let's go. That's me. That's my time for now. Love, peace, one. Oh, by the way, if you're looking to, be on the show, get at me, Cancer, My Journey, My Way at gmail.com. That's Cancer, My Journey, My Way at gmail.com. Love you. I truly do.